I'm going to add Airi straight in. Hello, hello, hello. Just waiting on our guests so I can go ahead and introduce us. This is my first one. Make sure y'all let me know like what y'all want to see, what y'all want to ask. I'm going to try to pay attention to the comments to see if I can slide some of y'all questions in. Hello, Airi. I requested you. Hold on. Here we go. You talking about who made that shirt? You already know the Influence Foundation only get their stuff made by Roller Vinyl. Hello. Oh, look at the person. You start as soon as we get on.
You know,
I am cracking up. I'm excited. As y'all can see, this won't be a typical interview. Y'all seen her. It started off real airish. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just introduce us, bring us in. So, Airi, you are currently in a meeting with Sim. Just a little bit of background. I was supposed to do a radio show a couple years ago, and a couple things fell through. I got busy with business, but it was based on strictly entrepreneurship and influencers. And I just wanted to share a platform of motivation, inspiration, some laughs, all those kind of things that I stand on. So that is what we are going to do today. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Going live was a bold decision because when you go live with somebody that got over 1 million followers, the comments be crazy, but I'm going to stay focused. All right. So I just want to start off by, I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Now it's the Sim. You want to meet with Sim, so I'm going to introduce you. So I want to introduce to y'all one of my favorite YouTubers of all times, Airi. So she is a YouTuber. She's a recording artist. That's one of my favorite things about her. Y'all got to see me dance to some of her music, but we're going to get into that later. So she's an entrepreneur. She's a mother. She's all of these different things. And it's a couple things I can't wait till y'all find out that she's becoming. So I don't want to spill too many beans when we first coming into the meeting, but I'm going to allow Airi to go ahead and introduce herself. Tell the people something that you want to know about yourself, and then I'm going to dive straight into the questions.
Well, I am chasing after God's own heart. I am going through my faith walk right now, so I'm going through a private and a public transition as of lately. So that's just something I would want y'all just to know, just a little fun fact about me, and that's about it. And you know, I think the interviewer is just like so beautiful. But that's all.
Okay, so let me drop a bomb on y'all, right? I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't know Airi. This is actually one of my good friends. So some of these questions, I'm going to sit here and act like I didn't know the answer to. But you know, we gonna keep it all the way real. We're gonna be authentic. But some of the questions I do know the answer to. But some of the questions I'm definitely going to catch her off guard. So I'm definitely going to bring y'all some heat. So first things first. So I know your birthday is tomorrow. You are turning 24. Yes. So what has age 23 been for you?
Age 23 has been, age 23 for me has been life-changing. It's been really like a self-reflecting year, like a humbling. It's been like my most humblest year, where I really been like having to be in my most humblest when it came down to finances, direct. Yeah. You know, any of my businesses, all of that. I feel like this really been like this year really been like an eye opener and like a season of me sitting still and like learning how to have my self confidence and
absolutely
all my self love and just kind of like getting my focus back and finding the healthy source, which is, you know, God, and not getting distracted like I normally would. So this season really just a roller coaster. it's just been like, yeah, it's been a new ride for me.
So okay, so going into age 24, of course, you know, when you go through those different life changes, you get that chance to regroup, you get that chance to figure some things out, more importantly, figure yourself out. What would you say your contribution to the world is now?
My contribution to the world, I would have to say, is definitely it's definitely my contribution to the world. I would have to say it's me stepping outside of myself and kind of, you know, helping people who are going through the same thing that I'm going through,
Mm-hmm.
and putting up a fake facade for social media and for YouTube, and allowing people to see that you don't have to live to be a social media influencer, and
Right,
that pictures and posts, there's a real life behind it, and to actually live your caption. Like, don't just be, oh, I'm living my life like it's golden. Actually, to
right.
way that happiness. So I feel like my contribution would be to shed light on girls, people, anybody who just kind of may be in a dark place and don't have anybody to show them that the person you may be liking on Instagram goes through the same things that you may be going through.
That's actually very, very good feedback. So how would you explain your experience in the YouTube industry, given the fact that you started off so young? So you started off young, you started off as a young mom. How was that, like breaking into the YouTube industry and being a mom? How was that? And then I'll go into some other questions.
I feel like going into that so young and being a mom was definitely really hard to really hard to keep my identity. Like,
Yeah,
it's to look at comments and already stuff that I'm dealing with, not to let it affect me. And then
yeah,
to be honest, I did let stuff affect me, even when it came down to my parenting, even when it came down to showing my son on social media, because it was just everybody had an opinion. And I felt
absolutely, yeah.
in the community, it was so hard to trust that I didn't want to, it affected friendships outside of YouTube, that it made me think that everybody came strictly just, you know, for my platform, or came
Exactly, yeah.
versus actually, you know, experiencing real friendships. Like, it's played a big part on a lot of stuff, like a lot of doors that I kind of like just trapped myself in a box with the community, like trying to find out what the content gonna be. Like, you want the next viral video, going crazy, versus doing
Right.
actually enjoy, trying to beat your numbers. Like, I feel like YouTube really kind of just like it affected me in both a good way and a bad way, but it really had me like, it really like that, it really challenged me with my identity, like trying to figure out who I am, growing as a woman, and
Yeah.
stay focused on what I'm supposed to do.
So, given the fact that you got some experience with, life on and off of YouTube, so what do you feel that your definition of an influencer is? Like now that you've gotten so many different, new perspectives, what do you feel Airi's version of an influencer is? Like, what is an influencer to you?
I feel like an influencer to me is someone who understands their power, and someone who
Mhm.
understands the lives that they're impacting. Is
Wow.
that 1 million followers on something is not just a number. These are actually people who are looking at you, and that if you have the spotlight on you, it's to show the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who's watching you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know who's keeping track of you. So I feel like as an influencer, it's like my definition is somebody who's in a position to like live their life not for themselves, but living their true selves for others.
Right. So, all right. So I heard you in the beginning of the interview. You referenced um, that you thought like when people came around you, as new friends and things like that, you didn't know who was coming for your platform. You didn't know basically who was coming for what. So now that on the flip side, because I know I'm one of the people that came into your life when you were taking a slight break from YouTube and things like that. Going back into the YouTube world, because we know you attended Queen's birthday party, you attended a baby shower, so taking a hiatus and then going back, full throttle for a week straight. You went to, I think, YouTube Ween or something like that. Collaboween. That. There you go. Collaboween. So you took this break and then you jump right back into things with your fellow YouTubers. What was that experience like?
Um, It was definitely, it was for a moment, it was uncomfortable. Like, it was
Mm-hmm.
weird because I kind of just like went back into it. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like going back to the YouTube community, it really opened my eyes on the direction that I want to go in. Like how
Right.
be different from all the people that I used to mess with. Not to, it was a lot of temptation, even with content ideas. It's like I can slide back and just do this, but I feel like because of my faith walk and just the new direction of me evolving as a woman, I just feel like going into the YouTube community definitely showed me that I'm put into this YouTube community to be different from everybody else. So like going back into it was like a confirmation, like the path I'm going on is good, it's different, but I like it, I enjoy it. This is for,
Right.
and it's actually helping people because I'm talking to that I'm with, being around Queen and them, and they like, oh yeah, I see what you're doing. I'm just like, really, like, yeah, okay. I'm inconsistent in the mug. Like
Right.
you watching me, so it was definitely like I don't know. It was uncomfortable, but a lot of clarity for me at the time.
Right. So, with all of that being said, what is something that you would say to your earlier self as a YouTuber?
Mm. Good child. Something I would say to an earlier version of myself in YouTube, I would tell Airi to slow down, to enjoy the moments that are happening, and to not lose focus on God. Do not change the main source of anything. Like make the main source God. Like you can't do nothing. You may have $1 million in your bank account. Every video may be going viral.
Right.
That stuff is not helping you privately. Like make sure that you're taking care of Airi first. And taking care of Airi means you're filling yourself up with the right things, surrounding yourself with the right people, and healing at the same time. So that's what I would tell Airi.
Right. So, so you sound like an old head because you're giving out free game right now. But so what is something that you feel as though I heard you mention temptation, like once you got back into the swing of things slightly, these past couple months. So what is one thing that you can name to hone in on that was temptation to you, but you knew that you couldn't do it? So I heard your general answer, and of course, on the flip side, I know what the real answer is, but to your fans, like, what are some things that you struggle with that was tempting to you, but you just knew that? I heard you mention that you knew that God basically was directing you to do some other things. So name one thing at least that was tempting for you, and you was like, you know what, I can't do it.
If I can be 100% transparent with y'all, something that was very tempting was um, it's exactly right when I got back in the youth community was making a angry video about all the people who did me wrong. Like to
Yeah.
make, especially with the recent situation of my breakup and how public it was, to go back and make a video about how I felt and just out of anger and pettiness. That was like a temptation thing because you have a conversation with other people and they start telling you numbers and you know what I'm saying? You start hearing like, how much are for the video? I could tell my truth. Like I got a few things I could say. So a big thing was tempting for me was like the pettiness and like speaking out of anger and making a video about it. And
Right.
that was one big thing that was like tempting to me that I was just like, should I make a video? I mean, me and this person not even, so that was very tempting. I'm telling you, that's why accountability is important because I was right there. I was like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. What is something that you feel as though I'm trying to make sure I word this correctly, because the reality of it is you spoke on your breakup, and the reality of it is I consider you and your ex both family. So in order to I want to of course stay respectful, what is a misperception that people had about your breakup?
um, a mis a misperception
or
is
even things or even things that people even mentioning you was just reading, like that's not even true, because me, I'll be like, yo, these pages is because like, y'all, I'm about to give y'all some insight. I'm not a YouTuber at all. So
mhm.
I'm somebody that, where I'm from, if you got pages with your name in it, people gonna assume you made a fake page for yourself. So when I had all these pages with Airi name in there, and I don't know if they for Airi, if they against Airi, they tagging me in all this hateful stuff. They speak, and I'm like, they said this about you and Trey, and this is not even true. And it was pissing me off. So how do you deal with that? And what is some things that people said about y'all breakup that was just like, bro, you don't even know?
Yeah. A lot of people said that we broke up because of like a female. A lot of people thought that even in our process of healing that we hated each other. Like we was literally like beefing, like just straight up, I hate you down to the gutter. You know what I'm saying? I hope you die tomorrow, bro. Like,
Right.
of just like that we never cared about each other, that it was for the money, that like, you know, even not caring about my son, like it was
Right.
just so many different opinions about who, what, when, where, why, and nobody was there 24/7 like I was. So
Right. Exactly. So I'm gonna jump back to this topic, but I want to loosen things up a little bit. What do you think is one of the funniest things about yourself, or
um
something funny that you've ever did?
okay, let me
Like
see.
one of the funniest things you ever did, like one of those things where you snorting and just smacking your knee because you was just so funny at that present moment.
I'm trying to think. To be honest, lately I've been having a few moments like that, like just with myself. I'm trying to think, like something just funny to me. I don't know. Something that I know that like funny to me is like I love the fake conversations that I have with myself. Like I have a lot of conversations with myself, and you know, not to toot my own horn, but I'm hilarious. Like I'm pretty funny. Like me and Airi, we be chilling. Like she get me, I get her.
Do you think that you've become your own best friend now?
I definitely believe that I've become my own best friend and been okay to be by myself at the same time. Where at one point I didn't, and I still have moments, but at one point I didn't feel like I wasn't by myself ever, like
Mm-hmm.
at all. I really do like going to those events by myself was completely new to me. Like normally you gotta, you know, bring somebody. So like stepping out by myself, I really had to find comfort. Like you know what I'm saying? Hey girl, what's up? Because I was
Right.
I tell myself to show up.
Right.
And I know if I'm loyal or not.
So okay, so I'm glad you just brought that up. What is your definition of a friend now that you've matured versus what you used to think your definition of a friend was?
I feel like my definition of a friend now is definitely not somebody who, because of personal encounters, I feel like a friend is somebody who, whenever, like, whenever, like, a friend is somebody is like when I'm going through a transition or a hard time, that they're able to still love me and be there for me, even when I can't see that I'm doing wrong. And so I feel like, because, like, even situations like, you know, can I say my friends? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Quick, you know, conversations with you having to be able to like I had moments where I was like in and push off and like I'm good, like I just want to be by myself and having somebody to still love me, still check on me and still be transparent. Like I get, you know what I'm saying? You didn't treat me like a YouTuber and influencer. You
Yeah.
didn't like a no, you made me feel type of way. Talk to me when you're ready. But it was
Mm-hmm.
still I'm still praying for you. And you know what I'm saying? I ain't talked to Eric, but we got Bible study Thursday. Like it's somebody who is gonna love you, you know, through the good, through the bad, and support you throughout the whole process. And then also like letting you know what they going through at the time, and just like not giving up on you like at all. Like
Right. So with you mentioning that, are you open to giving a little bit more detail or allowing me to give it a little bit more detail because I love teaching moments, especially about friendship, because that's one of those things that I feel like millennials lack. They lack the ability to be able to hold on to healthy relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's, you know, whatever it is. So like, would you be comfortable with giving details with that 2 week phase that you and I went through? Or would you
um
be comfortable with me doing it?
you can do it.
So during that phase or whatever, of course, like she mentioned, she was dealing with a lot. So with her dealing with those things, and she went through a phase where it's like, okay, y'all are my friends, but y'all all the way in Philly. I'm in Atlanta and I'm by myself. So she went through a phase where we went from talking on the phone every day, all day. And then it was okay, now, oh, can y'all hear me? My phone. I'm sorry. So now it's like, she's back with her YouTube friends. And now I'm on the other side, like, oh, because here's where the trick come in at, yo. Everybody got a history of a bad friendship, right? So I got a history of friends that sort of came around me. I was there for them in those moments, and then when everything was good for them, they went on ahead about their business and made it seem like I never meant nothing to them. Versus Airi, she had people that came around, and they took advantage of her. They took advantage of what she can offer, whatever the case may be. Or she had situations where people used to judge her. Or, now that we not seeing eye to eye, now I'm gonna go tell all your business. So you dealing with two people that got triggered in those areas, and it's like those 2 weeks in my mind, I'm like, oh, all right, now she back with her YouTube friends. She don't got no rep for me. And in her mind, she like, yeah, she up in Philly. At the end of the day, she don't got time for me. I'm bothering her if she called, whatever. So we went through this little 2 week period, and Aries the type of person that if she thinks you're even about to hurt her, she's going to push you away. Period. She's going to push you away. But the good part is that the foundation of our relationship was God. So we were able to come back because we honest with each other. And I'm the type of person that I feel like communication in a regular friendship is just as important as communication with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever. Because if you love somebody, you love somebody. So I decided I was going to communicate with her. And she was like, yeah, all right. Like, it was, I think I said something about selfish. I triggered her and I told her something that she did to me. I felt like she had a selfish moment. Oh, she blew it out of proportion, y'all. But the lesson in that was we came back to each other and we had this conversation. I had it all wrong. She had it all wrong. But we were able to come to that common understanding. And that's what friendship is about. Everybody in this generation, the second that something happened, I'm going to cut them off, or I'm off them, or I outgrew them. It's always about everything else. So it was never really no healthy conversation. So I feel like, me personally, I feel like we got closer at that point. Because once you can feel like, you went through something like that and, y'all bounced back from it, at that point, I was able to see your growth. So that made me, appreciate those different moments. But another thing that I'll say is it's complicated being friends with somebody that's famous. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, of course, you don't acknowledge yourself as famous, but in this generation, once you hit 1 million on Instagram, you might as well win a Grammy because you famous. You're a celebrity. They might as well roll out the red carpets and things like that. But it's complicated because, and then it goes back into things like you said, like, all right, why are you fighting so hard for my friendship? What do you want out of me? Or, what you gonna do if you get mad at me? So I feel like the dynamics of our friendship really, really changed. And we actually just started walking more consistently with each other in ministry. I can't wait for her to be able to tell y'all stuff like that. But if you don't have nothing else to say about that topic, I want to bounce to some more funny stuff, because I saw in the comments they mentioned when you locked yourself in the closet.
Oh my goodness. That was not funny to me.
I laughed the entire time. So I need you to tell them about what happened when you had to call maintenance in your condo because you locked yourself in the closet.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so as you guys may or may not know, I turned my apartment into an Airbnb, and I was putting I put like my cleaning supplies and stuff in the bedroom closets. So I decided that take off the locks and the doors from the actual apartment and put on my own lock from Walmart. I'm putting it on, and the door's right here. I'm putting this here, but like it needs something to be sturdy on. So I close the door so I can screw it in. Next thing you know, I'm locked in there. It's not attached. And I'm just on the phone with Sim crying. Just, oh my God, I'm Uber my
crying
sister.
And laughing. That's why I didn't know what to do.
I'm just like, because I hate crying, and I'll be laughing at myself because I'm crying like, yo, you look crazy. But I'm like, I couldn't stop crying. And I think that day was like a night. I cried that whole day, I think. I cried like times that day. I had like 3 breakdowns. And I'm in the closet, and I'm just trapped in there. I'm like, I gotta get, call the main. No, I didn't even think
that was one of those things I wish you was YouTubing. I wish you were YouTubing that video, because that's the kind of stuff I like seeing on YouTube, because it's like, this ain't even a prank. This is real life. Something is wrong with her. And then one day we was on FaceTime three-way with somebody, not telling who we was on FaceTime with. She swallowed her face. I said something. She got embarrassed, and she literally, I've never seen a human swallow their own face. Like, it was the craziest thing ever.
Listen, I was shocked by the response that we had got on the FaceTime, and I tried to control. I had 8 different emotions, and excitement and get back serious happened at the same time. So it was just, but the moments that are funny to you were very traumatic for me.
Those are the moments where I need these people, these pages that catch all your moments. I need that kind of stuff circulating, because that's the kind of stuff that I will fall in love with. That's entertainment for me. One thing that I will say, and I'm gonna say this, one thing that I love about your YouTube, even before I met you, I was introduced because of course my husband and Trey were really cool. So I started to see your stuff a little more often, and when I was going through your YouTube, I saw a video. Well, I realized that through all your videos, you don't have to have on makeup in all your videos. You don't have to have your hair done in all your videos. You ain't stunting with this label, that label. You ain't walking around with, I'm about to go get this done on my body. And that it's just like, it's so authentic. It's so real. So how do you stay real? How do you stay authentic? And how do you present your true self in an industry that's supposed to look polished and perfect, and everybody has a big house and nice cars and perfect relationships and fancy makeup every day, and they could just go drop a bag on everything? The kids are perfect, they never act up, nothing happens. So in this world that blows my mind, how do you stay you?
If where I was at that time, I used to beat myself up because I did not have that thing. Like, I didn't have that. I was trying to get my hair done weekly, makeup. I needed a thumbnail. I needed everything to be perfect. It's just, that's just not what was down to being true to you. Is that you gotta ask God to reveal you to you. Like, you gotta
Right.
be okay. I'm not perfect right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right now, my house is an Airbnb. Right now, I don't got money to, do a big photo shoot. Right now, this is my time where it's just me and my family. Like, we all back at my mama's house. It's like being open and kind of like exposing yourself to, you know what I'm saying? And knowing that comments and these people do not, like, 5 people that are in the comments saying all the bad stuff, there's 100 people watching, so thankful that you opened up and showed them that. Because I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm trying to put myself out the camera and like kind of watch myself. And if I just felt like I truly got to a point where I wouldn't even watch myself no more, because
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't really even being myself as pure as I could have. Like, I wasn't doing content and stuff that I probably like would enjoy now. Like, actually
Yeah.
not feeling so insecure. Like, dang, my thumb have 3 plants and a big old Chanel bag in the background, and I should be. So I feel like with being true to, authentic at the same time, you gotta really like come back to, ground level, come back to the captain, come back in the house and go, all right, starting from the beginning, like, hi,
Right.
Harry, and this is just me and me. And they're like, what's up? So you're crazy. Cool. All right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, today, you don't know what you're gonna do tomorrow. You don't
Right.
know tomorrow. I want to be an esthetician tomorrow. Like, taking them on the real, true process of the things that I go through, and just allowing God to lead and not, try to hide myself to please other people.
So just I have a statement, and then I have a question. So the statement is, I'm actually very proud that you're open to being able to share those moments of you getting to know yourself. Like, one day I might want to be this, one day I might want to be that, one day I'm going to be sad, because you're allowing anybody who follows your platform to understand it is normal to have to get to know yourself. There is not a blueprint that you're presented at birth and say, here, this is what you're going to do, just follow the steps, step by step. Then you have certain people that feel like, I'm already this, like celebrity kids, and when they're born into being celebrities, they're born into this box, and when they break out, the world just looks at them like a failure, or it's just like, I'm just happy that you don't allow yourself to be caged in. In your early 20s is absolutely normal for you to consistently find yourself. I was 21 when I opened my first store, 22 when I opened my second store, 23 I was balling. I felt like I had it all together. 24 I started losing both of them. 25 I was pregnant in 6. 26 I was figuring out how to recover all of it, and that is absolutely necessary. And whereas though half of Instagram is millionaires, I am not, and I'm absolutely okay with that, because you can have $1 million and not know nothing about yourself. You can have 1 million followers and not even know who you are. These people don't even know who they're following, because the person doesn't even know who's leading. Like, you don't know yourself. So that's one of the things that I actually, you know, in addition to everything else I already said, I admire about you. But I had a question, but it slipped my mind. But one thing I do want to ask you is, when people say things like Airi fell off, how does that make you feel now versus how it made you feel 6 months ago? I want to go into that. When you initially saw people saying that you fell off, how was that affecting you versus how it could affect you now?
Um, the way it used to affect me is it used to paralyze me where I couldn't make any moves because I'm just like this next move, like my next house has to be 500,000. Like I can't even an apartment or another one. Like I couldn't even, I was literally paralyzed that it was literally stopping me from doing like anything. Like I wasn't happy at all. Like I was just stuck and I believed everything that people were saying, like, oh, I did fell off. I should have just been petty. I should have made this viral video, and I should have went this way because I know how YouTube goes, especially after a breakup. I should have did this, and I would have been balling. I would have been good. I would have been, you know what I'm saying? I should have put a new dude on my platform. Just this how I felt versus me now. I feel like when I hear the you fell off, it being where I'm at now, I'm understanding that God literally needed to sit me down because the path I was going was not the right path. Like it was pure like letting my flesh lead the way, and I was trying to convince myself that was the way I needed to go, and it wasn't. Where now
Absolutely.
I still have moments, you know, like being honest, that I'll be like, I should have just, you know what I'm saying? Why not? Where I'm at now, I've been look and be like, why I see why I had to be quiet when everybody made videos or tweets or whatever about me because if I did that, then these 5 girls that's in my Bible plan would have never believed anything I was saying. So
Right.
it's realizing like now that the reason why it may look like I fell off is because right now I'm it's a new recipe. Like remade, like, and not by myself, my own ingredients. It's gonna taste good. God is like, now that you're back, let me show you what this was supposed to be like. You know what I'm saying? Those 8 months that were the worst time ever, what were you missing? God. So now
Right.
let me add this to you. Let me make this better. Let me show you the lies you just affected. Let me show you how to really maximize your platform, not to look like everybody else. Oh, you bought a $3,000 pair of shoes versus you just 1,000 girls
Right.
affected. So that's why I feel like versus then my mindset, if I fell off to now, I feel like right now everything that's happened and still happening is for a bigger, and I'm getting a slither piece of the puzzle, and it's like I gotta keep going because I'm right at the door with the goal behind it, and I'm trying to, like, it's taking too long. I'm tired, and it's
Yeah.
like this, and even when I get there, it's still more digging to do.
Yeah.
So that's my mindset is from then to now.
No, that make a whole lot of sense. So, did you have faith in yourself on this faith walk? Like, did you receive any like backlash? Like, you know, this ain't nobody going. She ain't going to stick to it. Or did you believe you was going to stick to it? Or do you have like any naysayers like they ain't going to work? Or you just doing this because you brokenhearted? You'll be over it in a second. Like, what was that like when you basically told people like, look, I'm about to embark on my faith journey?
I definitely had a lot of naysayers from, you know, I love my family to pieces, but even inside my own household, it was like yeah, it sounds good. It was I even myself, I was just like, are you really gonna do this? Because when moments got hard, I'm like, it was kind of easier when you was just doing you. Like it was kind of easier to pick up a drink, go to the club, and twerk tomorrow. It was kind of easier that way. So I feel like with the naysayers, um, with myself, I was a big naysayer. Like I was trying to do it, but at the same time, I was beating myself up about it. And then
Right.
people close to you, that's kind of like, I think you can do it. I hope you can. But you can tell that they like, we'll see. I think that played a big part because I'm just like, well, dang, they know me. Like, and if they know me and I know myself, I'm probably like, it's no, you know, I'm like, that's my cousin, that's my mama. Like, cute. We'll see. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? uh, I'm trying to find a word for it, but it can really like throw you off, especially if you're already beating yourself up about it. Like I
Right.
think it, and then you got people you trust that are in your circle telling you like, yeah, go ahead, but I'm, you know, post your website, but I ain't gonna buy nothing because I don't know if you really gonna be consistent like you need to. So,
Right.
but it was a lot, and I was a big naysayer for myself.
So, how do you feel that? Do you feel that God, okay, that's that question. So do you feel, what do you feel God's strategy was when he allowed you to in a chapter with your relationship, which had all your focus and entering you on your faith walk? What do you think God's plan was in there? Because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going through a broken heart, right? Or I'm not. I can't say a broken heart because I can't speak for you. But you went through change, so nobody likes change, especially not abruptly. So going through a separation from somebody you spent so much of your time and your life and your career and things like that with, but now this has been stripped from you. But now you're, embarking on this faith walk. What do you think God's strategy in that was?
I think I believe that God's strategy with that was to it was to kind of like it was kind of to stable me because it kind of to show me like a you see like a pulling me out like a watching a movie, like you see what you value, you see what you put above, you know what I'm saying, you see why that didn't work out, you see why because you didn't come to me to heal this, how that affected this, did you see how that one decision you made messed up a whole bunch of stuff, you see like like I feel like I don't know. I don't really. I'm trying to get let my words kind of flow, but I feel like with that, I guess it was really kind of like a like a like a kid, like when you let them party and stuff, and you let them come.
Yeah.
You enjoyed that, and then now they come home and they got the baby, and you like, well, mama, and it's like a now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Yeah.
definitely like he's literally saved me. Like I was
Yeah.
literally going down a dark hole where even after the videos, like I was literally depressed. Like I was taking medication,
Yeah.
like going. I'm like, I need to call the doctor. Like, can we up my dose? It's not working. I felt like I was just going down a rabbit hole, and I
Yeah.
feel like a to me, I thought, oh, he took everything away, but it was really like he was saving everything for me. It just wasn't the right time, and I wasn't in the right mindset to take it. Like it was just like a let me show you, like let me take you out of that. Let's get you prepared before you go out there, hurt a hurt person hurting more people. And
Right.
I feel like that's what why everything like why he did everything for me.
So we all know that you took a few hiatuses in 2020, leaving your fans just like high and dry. Like, yo, where Airi? Where she at? They was assuming. I had your fans Instagram FaceTime me like, can you check on Airi? And I'm looking like she's alive. I was just with her. Like, you get what I'm saying? But as far as your social media, they couldn't. They it was no trace of you. If you had 10 seconds to apologize to your fans, what would you say? Or your supporters, because they corrected me before. They said we like to be called supporters. So what would you say if you had 10 seconds? What would you tell your supporters?
Ooh. So this is like an apology to them or like a
Yeah, because in their from there in looking at it, you're somebody who they looked forward to seeing often throughout their week. You're somebody who they looked up to. You're somebody who they like. It's that one brown skin girl that's like, yeah, like I don't think I'm that cute, but Airi is on YouTube and she's giving me the confidence to do X, Y, and Z. So those people who you impacted, and then all of a sudden it's nothing from you. What would you say to those people?
um I would say that I would say I'm sorry for allowing my disobedience to affect all the people who cared about me from the beginning. And I'm sorry that I couldn't see my worth and didn't allow God to shed light on my worth and use the tools and resources He gave me so that way I can keep helping people that was looking at me as an outlet that needed me to show up. Like I would apologize for my disobedience of not showing up when I was supposed to and all the lies that I affected from being stubborn and allowing my flesh to take over.
Yeah, that was good. So I want to leave the people. It's a couple things I want to ask you in regards to career, like what they could expect next or whatever you want to share besides any bombs you might drop for your birthday. But speaking as safely as possible, how do you what is there any communication with you and Trey? Are y'all cool? Are y'all enemies? Do you hate them? Do you still love them? Like, what is going on with that situation?
Oh my goodness. Well, you gotta be honest. Um, me and Trey, for me, I still love him. I always will have love for him. He's a very special person to me right now and always will be. Of course, we're both going through our healing process, but we're definitely not beefing. There's no beef. two different people going through two different healing processes. And although
Have y'all had any communication?
Yes, we have had communication. We had communication with like the FaceTime call, y'all. That's my face follow moment. But just to be honest,
Yeah.
we have had contact with. We've been in the same room with each other and had some real honest like moments and stuff like that. And we also had been in conversations where we both walked away more upset with the other person than we came in. So
yeah,
pretty much it.
I'm happy that's out the bed because I'm tired of people assuming y'all hate each other, y'all beefing. I had one of your supporters write me and say, "Could you do me a favor and never post Trey again?" You know me. I said, "Excuse me? Are you? Don't come telling me what to post on my page." Like I went off. I had to remember my salvation at that moment and how the Holy Spirit wasn't going to approve of what I wanted to say. But I'm happy that that's out the bag because y'all both dope people. Like, I'm not going to speak on that situation because it's not fair. He's not here to defend himself. But again, I at the end of the day, one of the greatest thing that you can do as a Christian is love. So I'm just happy that, that's the cat with that is out the bag. Now, don't go start no rumors. I didn't in a meeting with Sim, she did not tell y'all they was back together. She didn't say none of that. So listen, but I'm definitely happy about that. So what's some things that we can expect from you in year 24? I know you got on live today and you announced that you were doing something for teen moms, which I think is super, super dope. What was the inspiration behind that? Like, what made you want to go and say, okay, I'm about to do this project and it's geared specifically towards teen moms? Like, what does being a teen mom still mean to you till this day?
A teen mom to me, I feel like it's about breaking the statistics and forgiving yourself about decision that you made at a young age and not allowing your past to block you from your future and kind of like paralyze you. Like I didn't realize the guilt that I carry even to this day that I carry for having Daniel so young, like beating myself about it. Well, if I would have did this and would have did that, then this wouldn't happen. When it's like I could have did all the right things, and if God wanted it to happen, it would happen. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I feel like, yeah. I
So
feel
what are
like,
you looking to achieve with this project that you just launched, 14 Moms?
with this, I feel like I'm trying to get. I'm speaking my truth. Like I want to share my testimony that I'm still going through and to get another perspective in a safe place for young girls who had a baby at a young age and may not have that circle that they need. And at the same time, I want it to be where I'm able to learn new things and get my truth out there so I can also get delivered and learn my truth as well. Because like even sitting here talking, I always like while I'm speaking just be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, God, I see why. That makes so much sense. So,
Yeah.
my goal for it is let God take control and do all the things that He's supposed to do, but just being obedient that He told me to show up. He gave me confirmation from accountability. I asked for clarity and prayer, and I said, if I can't see it, God, send somebody to show me. And He, you know what I'm saying? He said, well, then that means you need to ask for help. And then I asked for. That's when I called you, and you came up with this idea and helped me break down something that I couldn't put on paper. And it just flowed. And I have in the prayer, like I just want like God send me a legit plan, A to B, when to show up, how to do it. And literally it was sent to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So like all of those, like I've been called, it's been told to do this, and it's like this is another test about like, are you gonna be obedient and do what I say? And then let me take the rest, like, and watch what's gonna happen. So that's kind of like what my goal is, because I don't have an end goal for it, because I don't know what the end goal is.
Right, exactly. That's what faith is. Faith is when you just do what God say and you don't know what's at the end. So
I'm just first leap, and we go.
absolutely. Listen, all we need is faith of a mustard seed. So just to start wrapping up, where can they find any of your music? Because you don't like talking about that, but I'm going, y'all. And first of all, as much as I blurt out singing, if I could sing like this girl, I wouldn't shut up. But she wants to continue to act like the whole singing thing doesn't exist. That's how you know when you talented, when you can just turn it on off when you want to and just drop bangers when you want to. Because at the end of the day, Talk Heavy did numbers, and I still am trying to learn that Talk Heavy dance, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But you know, where can they go stream any of your music at?
To be honest with y'all, I literally have no idea. Like, I think it's a lot of stuff with the music stuff, like even signing with Rich Forever at such a young and like the place that I was in. Like, I just feel like the decisions I made were right now. I've been like even praying like to lead me to the right direction, how to maximize decisions I made from my past to now.
Yeah.
So like with the music thing, I don't really have a concrete direction, like a platform like Spotify, because to be honest, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So it comes down to with music, I want to drop stuff. I just really don't know how to start, where to start. And a big part of my Facebook, I was really worried about the music. I was like, well, I was cussing Talk Heavy, but you know, like said to me, it was like if it's like a testimony. If I don't see where you've been, how can I see where you're at now and where you're gonna go? So
one thing that I really don't like, and that I always make it a point to make on my platform, is that people expect so much perfection from you as a Christian. And I am here to say, yes, we are supposed to live like Christ. The Bible says all will sin and fall short of the glory. God already knew we was going to sin, all of those different things. And at the end of the day, the goal is to spend every day living more like Christ. We are not Christ. We are going to still, deliverance take time. It's people that struggle with things like alcohol addictions and things like that. They don't just say, okay, I'm gonna go to church today, so tomorrow I'm gonna stop drinking. No, that's not how that works. People have to go through deliverance. When you've been practicing something your entire life and it's been a part of your daily activity and your daily thought process and things like that, those type of things don't happen overnight. So people have to stop expecting perfection from Christians. There is no perfect Christian. That does not exist. If you were perfect, you don't need God. So absolutely, you still have some girls that are strippers that are still going through their deliverance process. It might be a stripper in a club one day, and God might know, okay, it's a stripper here, and it's a guy that I need you to go do it's a guy that you're about to go do a lap dance for. He's actually going to die when he walk out this club, but I need you to offer him salvation. Yeah, that's a crazy example, but the reality is God works like that sometimes. You never know how God will use you, when God will use you, where he'll use you at, none of those things. So I want every young Christian under the sound of our voices to understand, don't allow people to force you into perfection because you say you're Christian. To say you're Christian, you're just saying, I believe that Jesus Christ died for the remission of my sins. You're not saying, okay, tomorrow I'm not going to do anything wrong. I'm not going to err. We sin both knowingly and unknowingly. Sometimes, because to think it is to do it. Imagine how many things we think that's not of God. You can sit somebody in a room with four walls and tie them up and they still going to sin. Why? Because it's the mere thought, I'm going to kill them when I get out of here. Murder is a sin. You just said you're gonna kill who got you tied up in here. So the principle is, and I want to encourage any supporter of hers, if y'all see that she put out a song and she got in the bathing suit in the next video, don't call her less of a Christian. Maybe it's something in her contract that she got to give back before she leave a deal or something like that. You never know somebody's situation. So I just want y'all to understand, I don't want y'all to continue to judge people thinking that they supposed to be a certain way because they're Christians. We got to change the perspective of what a Christian is. And at the end of the day, you even got some Christian leaders that error. Airi will tell you, yes, I am a minister. Yes, I've gotten my certificate to be a minister. Yes, I can preach, I can pray, I can prophesy, I can speak in tongues, I can do all of those things. And guess what? It's still days I slip up and curse. Granted, I gotta go back to God about that, because how you gonna curse out the same mouth you prophesying with? But that's between me and God. Let me go deal with that. Absolutely. So, you know, we spent I had a baby out of wedlock. One of the things that I know that God wanted me to put, a message God wanted me to put out is, you still have time to make it right. I got married after I had a baby. I'm not telling y'all that having a baby out of wedlock is right. What I'm telling you is you have time to go back and make it right. You repent. Repent means to not do again. I'm married now. I ain't going to do it again. I ain't going to have no more babies out of wedlock. So the point is, I want whatever y'all do to take that to God and allow God to honestly deliver y'all, period. Don't allow the world like that. Don't allow the world to put forth doctrines and things like that. I just learned a new scripture, y'all, because I have a hard time remembering scriptures. And I learned a new scripture that tells you, Basically, God is saying, how do y'all say y'all worship me and y'all teaching these doctrines that man created? I didn't say that. Man created that. So I ain't gonna preach to y'all, but Airi, I want you to tell them everywhere that they can find you.
Y'all can find me on Instagram, YouTube at I am just Airi. Just type in I am just Airi. I'm on TikTok too. Just I am just AIRI. I'm here, live and in action.
There you go. So we are wrapping up this meeting with Sim. Thank you so much to my sister for coming on here and just spilling all the beans and just having this dope conversation with me. This was my first interview. I'm a little bit rusty on the interview, but it's all going to come together. But I'm definitely really proud of everything you're doing. I got your back 100% in the natural and in the spiritual. You saw that jump? That was like Corvette. all right. We're going to talk about that later. But yeah, so I just want to wrap up this meeting right now. And again, I'm just thankful that Airi took the time out to come on. You can make sure you're following both of us right now. I am wearing a t-shirt from the Influence Foundation. It is my baby cousin's brand. So is the earrings. So make sure I'm going to tag it on my story today. And I actually already tagged it on my story today. Make sure y'all go shop. Make sure y'all shop Mocha Princess Collection. Make sure y'all shop the Shoe Bar. Make sure y'all shop Glory Carrier. Make sure y'all shop anything that y'all see on my page. Make sure y'all just support and stay prayed up. And I love everybody. And I will be saving this live. Make sure when I save this live, y'all go and repost. Did I act like a YouTuber just there? Because when YouTubers talking, they be like, yeah, go subscribe to this and like this and follow me here. It's your pretty brown girl area. What you be saying? What's your intro? I did it. Say it. I want to hear you say it one time.
Everyone say so.
So we are out and get ready for my next interview with Pink Sweats.